Okay, welcome back to Raising Hell.
To heaven.
Woo, woo. We have a special guest today, Mark, who has a lot of knowledge, and because a great deal of the following is male, we would love to get a male perspective, especially if talking about masculine, feminine energy is a lot of the questions that we get. So I did a poll yesterday and asked some questions, or asked what you guys wanted us to hear us talk about. So we're gonna kind of just dive into that. How does that sound?
It's good.
Mark, do you want to give just like a little intro about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Mark from the UK. So I run a company at the minute called Man Mind as well. So Man Mind is an initiative for men to basically bring men together, build strength and resilience through like breath work, cold water therapy, that sort of thing. I've recently wrote a book on it as well. I'm not trying to sell it, but I did. And yeah, I've had a lot of things in my past. I had a bit of a crazy childhood, so everything I've learned, I'm trying to piece together and use it to make the world a better place, to spread more love and joy, to help men be stronger, but also better when it comes to like dealing with relationships, because it's some of the faults that I made throughout my life were in relationships, but it was all linked to childhood, it was linked to trauma. So I've done a lot of research and investing in my own self to get to where I am now, and hopefully, well, I know it, I'm helping a lot more people because of that.
I love it. That's so cool to actually like see the work being done, and especially like I don't know. I feel like it's more common now in the US. I don't know for South Africa and UK, but it's getting a lot more common that men particularly are allowing themselves to be like, let me think about mental health. We have mental health awareness month, we have all these things, but it is still stigmatized, right? It is still like, no, just be a man about it. Just
Mm-hmm.
forget your feelings. So cool to see actual strength in you, and you leading men well and showing like this is what it can look like for you. And you're so right. Like the key to most, or the foundational problems for most relationship problems, which are romantic or otherwise, are childhood trauma, right? So when we start to look into those things, it's wild what we can discover and how we can fix our relationships moving forward. So thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with a banger. This was a really good question someone asked yesterday. How to not get triggered by negative things?
Is that to me or is that to Kate?
Kind of in general. Whoever wants to just jump in.
I don't think it's possible not to get triggered. Like I think the thing is with triggers, right? How do you know when they're going to pop up? You have no idea, and like you can go along, and this is quite a big thing. You can go out of a relationship, end it or whatever, break up with someone, and then you can start your journey, right? You can go heal, you can do counselling, hypnotherapy, meditation, everything, and you can think you're the strongest person. You're not going to know until you get back into a relationship, especially if it's linked to childhood trauma, whether you're going to be triggered. And the only thing you can do when these triggers arise is lean into them. So break the patterns that you usually do. So I'll use me as an example, right? If you know about attachment styles, I'm an avoidant, or was an avoidant. So my go-to was to run away, avoid conflict, run away, and I didn't know I was doing it, but then kind of pushed the person away or pushed people away, whatever, until I went into my little hole, victim mode and all that lot. So when you start dating or you go back into other relationships and these triggers arise, you have to like, right, okay, one, be aware of it. So it's funny now, like I still get triggered, and I get this hot feeling, this, oh my god, my fight or flight is up, and I want to run, but I'm like, okay, well, the only way I'm going to get better, the only way I'm going to deal with this is I have to not do that. I have to lean into it. I have to communicate. I have to be open. So, in answer to that question, how negativity is always going to come at you. This is the thing. Life is a roller coaster, and like you got to ride the wave. And you could have a really good day, and the next day it could be really bad and negative. But you just got to lean into it. And if there's a lot of negativity around you, then you can start filtering that out. If you're strong enough, like friends, bad relationships, even like family, you might have to just cut, loose or fade out certain people.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. The energies around us affect us so severely.
Mm-hmm.
so
They,
severely.
they can drag us down. They can bring us up. You know.
That's just crazy because I literally shared something on this today about triggers.
Mm.
And like it's such deep work, I think. And how I like to look at it is, you know, with a trigger, I think people are always trying to find, I mean, this hence why there's addiction. You're always trying to find a way to avoid the pain, but pain, literally, it's a part of life. Pain is the biggest teacher. And I think when you look at a trigger, that is your little helper. It's shining a flashlight on that area in you that you still need to do the healing on. And I agree, surround yourself with people who are going to uplift you. And help you do that work around triggers. But it's also, you can't shut yourself off from the world. Stuff is going to come at you. Negative comments are going to come. People with opinions that you don't want are going to come. And you have to be so grounded within your frame, I think. Like it's basically just doing the work. You got to love yourself through that pain, through that shame. You got to forgive yourself. And once you're good with you, I feel like it makes it a lot easier. It's almost, you know, shame dies on exposure. It's that whole philosophy where when you truly are good with you, when triggers do come up, you don't become so reactive. You're able to be more responsive. You're able to like take a pause and go, okay, what am I feeling? It literally happened to me yesterday and today. Like I've had 2 severely triggering days, and I'm actually grateful for it in this strange way because it's helped me to see like where I still need to look and the work that I still need to do. And when you look at it like that, I think it also takes you out of being a victim and being like, why is this happening to me? And you're kind of like, okay, this is happening for me. And it's more empowering like that.
It's so random because literally I made a video. So I do a video Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and literally the other day was my video because I asked a question and it was, where does the growth happen? And my question, I answer it. I believe the growth happens when you do that. When you go through the pain, when you go through the trigger, you work through it. That's where the growth happens. Growth happens when you're the most uncomfortable, right? So like cold showers. Auditions, you know, the growth comes after the audition, not before it. When you're nervous and you're scared, it becomes, what did I learn? You know, it's always about learning. Every day is a school day, and it's so relevant to that. And what you're saying, growth happens. We don't learn from successes. We have to learn from failures, and we have to learn from going through the process. And like you said, over and over and over again, eventually you'll be like, God, that used to really trigger me. No, it doesn't feel that much. But you have to go through it.
Yeah. And I think it goes in cycles a little bit. I think that we go through these phases where stuff doesn't affect us as much. And then it might affect us again. Like for me lately, the negative comments have just, I think that there's something like, there's that phase, so that's saying like beating a dead fish, you know, like they lose their sting after a while, right? Because you get used to it and you start being like, whatever, this doesn't define me. But then all of a sudden there'll be just one that's just right, just hitting a point. And like you're saying, right, is like why I have to look in and be like, why is that one getting me? What work needs to be done there? And I think it's so key. 2 things that you've both said is that it's in the discomfort, not necessarily even like, I think that people are used to growing through pain, but starting to talk about the uncomfortability, like right when you're like just slightly uncomfortable, that's when it needs to change. Like when the pants don't fit quite right, like, you know, it's just slightly off, that there is like, that is a key indicator of like growth needs to happen right there. And because it's uncomfortable, because it doesn't hurt too bad, we don't usually do anything about it, right? So like if you're getting burned by a stove, you're going to move back your hand. But if it's just kind of warm, like you might keep it there. You might just stay uncomfortable or like avoid it or just not worry about it. But it's like that slight discomfort that is so important, because that's going to lead up and lead up and lead up if we don't deal with those things and why that's uncomfortable. For me, my attachment style is the anxious or preoccupied. And so I get very uncomfortable, right? So it's like, I almost wish I just could leave, but instead I get grossly uncomfortable. I start seeing someone I once thought was fantastic as repulsive, and I'm so uncomfortable. I'm like, why am I doing this? And so I have to stay in the most uncomfortable place and be like, they're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. Your childhood is speaking right now. So how do we move, like you said, lean into that, stay uncomfortable, and figure out how to like get comfortable, figure out to work through it. And those are like such pivotal moments if we can figure out how to like not just look away from them. And that's what most people do naturally, because we don't want to be uncomfortable.
I want to look in the
So
mirror. I'm sorry to jump in there. That's
no,
what a
go,
relationship.
yeah.
It's a beautiful mirror for all your shadows.
Yeah, that's the other thing you guys were saying, that like, I love that you said that, because my therapist even lately was like, you are super comfy out there, aren't you, in the not dating world, right? But like, it's all nice and you can feel like, wow, I'm doing super well, but you don't know until you go into a relationship, and then it all comes back up, right? So you have to try. And I think especially after COVID, a lot of people are like, I'm super comfy in here, like not dating, not getting my feelings hurt, not dealing with any of that stuff. So I'm going to stay not dating. But yeah, I would just like challenge you guys, whoever's listening to this, like get out there, get a little uncomfortable, and like it can be fun. Like you can have cool interactions, and like the most beautiful things in the life, won't happen if you don't take a risk. But it's hard, because are you going to get triggered? Probably. And I think also like triggers to me are super beautiful, and I'm super grateful for them in some situations, because they show me like who a person is. Like especially with men now, they're like little red flags, right? But they're like indicators of like this tiny little thing that this guy is doing may not feel big right now, or wouldn't have felt big to you 10 years ago. But now that you've been through what you've been through, you see that that is an indicator that later on he will do this. And so when my body physically reacts and is triggered, that's a time for me to be like, let's look at the situation, figure out, is it from me, or is it something that my body is recognizing is bad and I need to walk? So like, so grateful for those in a way.
Yeah. I think it's interesting you say that, actually, because that makes me think like, right, I'll go to, you'll go to, and I'm sorry, I'm the avoidant and you're the anxious, right? But it's going to happen, right? It's inevitable, because I don't know if there's a thing is fully healed. I don't know what that is. I don't know I think you just keep seeing these things and you're like, each time you're like, right, okay, this is what I need to do. But the main thing I've learned throughout my life, throughout anything, is the communication. So if you start seeing or feeling that red flag or that trigger, and that hopefully you're meeting and dating people that are a bit of aware. Like my go-to is like, oh, do you know about attachment styles? I'm like, yeah, like boom, right, let's date. But because you want people to be aware, and like you've got all this stuff, right? So if you need to be able to speak to someone openly, and that's all right, even if they don't know about attachment theory or whatever. If you can speak to them, be like, right, I just need to tell you something. Now, I don't want you to get offended or annoyed or whatever, but there's something in this that kind of does this to me. Can we sit and talk about it? Because it is something that it affects me in this way. It's all about communication, how we do it. Because the easiest thing to go to is your defense mechanism. Go quiet, I'm fine, and then he'll be, or they or she will be sitting there like, what, you're right, and like, yeah, fine, whatever. And classic me, I'll be my exit strategy. I'm leaving them. I've already finished them for whatever reason. I've started picking the flaws in them, or be like, right, okay, I've got to tell you something. And look, if it's the right person, they'll be like, hey, cool, I get that, right, let's work through this. Or they can be like, nah, you're damaged, you're too much for me. In which case, fine, you go and you keep doing, you find that person. And I just want to say one more thing. It's like when you say get out there, yeah, get off the dating sites and stuff like that. I'm not against all that stuff, but I think it's like a trap. Like people are on it for years and years and years. And the problem is the people that don't want to be going out, and no one's out because they're all on the dating apps. So like, go to the places. Go to the places. Like, all right, if you want to meet someone that drinks, maybe go to a bar, or you know, if you want someone that raves, go to a rave. If you want someone that train like fitness, like go to those places. But the main thing is to always just go for yourself. And if you bump into someone, I just believe, like, you know, the power of manifestation. We know this, right? If you energy goes where energy flows. If you're in the mindset, like, you know what, I'm doing me, but I'm happy for what comes into my life. You'll probably go somewhere, and the next minute you'll turn around and you'll lock eyes, and that'll be it.
Yeah,
You've got to be open, and
I think people stopped leaving because of COVID and then just stopped going out as much. And I do think, like, I am weary of, so I'm big on no dating apps. Like, I will download them a couple of times a year and then immediately be like, why did I do this?
Yeah,
like, yeah.
10 swipes, you're like, nah, God, why am I doing that?
Yeah, no. But it is difficult, like, to find, I think that's key, right? Like, do whatever it is that you're into. And they do have like clubs now where you can do like a hiking club or this or that. But it's really difficult after college. Like, you're used to being in school and high school and middle school and college and meeting everyone through these random groups of people that you're forced to be in, and you meet people that way. And then you hit your 20s and you're still partying and stuff. So you kind of like meet people that way, and they're not the greatest people that you want to be meeting. And then you finally hit like late 20s, early 30s, and you're not partying anymore. And it's like, where are you going to meet people? Like, for me, I go to the gym, and literally there are people that are in their 60s and 18-year-olds. And I cannot tell you the amount of times I'm like, oh, and my friend that works at the gym is like, he's 17. I'm like, damn it. Like literally there is no one age appropriate at my gym. And so it's like, but that's all I do, you know? So, and I saw this TikTok yesterday where this girl was like, when do the single guys go to the grocery store? Like, that's what it's come to. We are now grocery shopping, trying to find partners because we're so out of options. But like, yeah, it's tough because it's like, especially when you do something like training or rock climbing. I mean, I don't know what it's like doing that, but I feel like people also, again, because of COVID, go do their thing and are like, please leave. Like, I'm not a very friendly person at the gym. I'm like, I'm training right now. Please do not talk to me. Like, so it's really tough to get out there. So I understand why it's difficult for people, but I agree. I mean, it's better to do that, push yourself, do it, than the dating apps. Like, there are exceptions to the rule. My best friend is about to marry a man she met off Tinder. Like, it happens, but it is so rare. And my personal belief is it takes a very particular personality type. And that's like 1% of the population who can put looks aside, you know, and actually like swipe based off what they're looking for in a partner. The rest of us are destroyed by looks. Like, I can't do it. I can't. I'm basing, you know, my entire opinion off of someone, off of one line and their photo. That's just not how to judge a person.
That's the problem. That's how it reels you in there, doesn't it? That's why I said it's toxic, because, like, I mean, when you think I'm 36, right? So that when I was like in my early 20s, we only really we didn't really use Facebook that often either. So like, there was no dating sites, there was no nothing. But we went out. We went out partying, and that was the thing. The clubs were all open. I mean, there's no clubs down there anyway. I wouldn't want to go out clubbing anyway, but I mean, that was how we met back in the day. But now it's just, I mean, this is the problem. I think everything you can do, the internet can do everything, right? You can shop, you can shop for food, you can shop for people, you can. It's literally all from your home. You can sit there and literally you work from home, everything. And this is the problem. Like, there is a massive society boundary to all this as well. I think for me, this is like the mindset I was in. Focus. Like, after starting my girlfriend last year, I moved back from London and had loads of shit going on. And I was like, right, focus on me. Firstly, because I was like, if I'm a disorganized avoidant or whatever, or dismissive avoidant, I don't want to be putting anyone through more of this shit, or myself. Because it's written in the stars, we're always going to meet the opposite attachment or whatever. So I was like, don't want to do that. So I was like, right, focus on the business, focus on me. And then the abundance, let all the abundance come in every single area. And I truly, truly believe this. It's like, if you solely focus on you, it will just come. It will just come naturally. I don't know if, like, because society wrote a thing, right, get to 30 years old, you should have, 50 grand job, you should have a house, 2 kids, dog name Poppy, whatever. There's this whole society thing that we should be that. I don't believe in that shit at all. I think everything happens naturally. I mean, I believe that we were picked. We're on this timeline for whatever, whether it's the universe, God, whatever we believe in. We're on this path. All right, we veered off it here and there, but we're being focused towards this thing. And the more we resist it, the more we're desperate for this and that. I just think we're going off the path. If we focus on the stuff that we're really good at, be genuinely, genuinely lovely people, because that's how. Look, if you spread love and joy to people, they're going to do the same. It's a ripple effect. Just focus solely on yourself and travel, because obviously I've seen you're doing all your bits. You're going to be traveling. You have no idea that on one of those stops you're just going to bump heads with someone and be like, oh my God, what is that feeling inside my stomach? It's not anxiety, it's I genuinely believe that you in the right place at the right time, and these things happen. I think once you've also done the work, you're so aware of yourself. If you can be aware and love what you're doing, I generally think it will just crop up, and you'll be like, oh my God, I did not expect this.
Yep. Yeah.
You've got to be doing it. You've got to be out there.
It's so true. It's when you stop looking. And I think fundamentally, you have to do the work on yourself first. Because this was me. I realized I think from when I was 19, I was not on my own until last year. And I went through a really terrible, terrible breakup, horrible story. And then I took time, and it's the first time that I've taken time, and it's been the best, most liberating experience for me to be on my own and to really heal myself and to go into all of this work. I mean, I feel like this year, the me that was last year versus this year are two completely different people. So much has changed. And I'm in a space now where I understand what people were saying when they were like, don't just work on you, because now I know what I want. I'm not chasing, I'm not looking. Yeah, it would be nice, but I'm so content, in my own skin, in myself. And I don't want to settle. I don't just want to, I'm dating to marry. That's it. I'm not doing casual. I'm not doing any of this. And I'm so strong within that I'd rather be on my own. And me a year ago could never have said that. Me a year ago would have been like, I can't be alone.
What was that when everyone was saying focus on you? You're like, how do I focus? And
Yes.
You're going to be okay. When? What date will I be okay? And then you're
Exactly.
Okay, you were right. Yeah.
It's amazing.
And it's so cool to see it. It's so cool to see it, walking, talking example of it's doable. So but one day at a time, for anyone that's wanting to, or in that situation where it's what does that mean, be by myself or spend time by myself? I am for years I was I am by myself, but I was still dating. I feel like you guys are both saying focus on what's your passion, what are you here for on this planet? Focus on that stuff. And when you really start spending time on that, you get excited about that, you forget about the rest. And that's very powerful.
Come do a breath session to find your passion. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So another question is why emotionally intelligent men can't find a match these days, easily or hard. I mean, it's difficult anyways. So they're just asking why emotionally intelligent men can't find a match.
Wow. Why do you think? Because you spent your whole life running around like a headless chicken. Now you finally are aware of who you are, what you're doing, whether you've got ADHD or autism, or you've got this and that and this. Now your whole mindset's changed. So you're looking for what you want now, whereas before you didn't really have a clue. That's from my perspective. I don't know. Will I be happy with that? Will I be that? I always knew that I wanted, like Kate said, to be with someone for the rest of my life and love and have children and really have that family unit. But I mean, I didn't know what all those issues that I had. So when you start learning about yourself and becoming, I say, emotionally intelligent, and that just grows and grows and grows and gets better each time anyway. I think it'll, you're looking for something different now. So that's probably why it's more difficult, because you want to find an emotionally intelligent woman at the same time.
Yeah.
And you got to kiss a lot of frogs sometimes. But as we said before, there's that issue with dating. I mean, it is the hardest I think it's ever been, ever gonna be. A lot of people probably say opposite, like you can just go online and that. But what if you don't want that? If it's not organic for you, because I prefer the organic. Bump into someone or do something, like maybe that's a bit fairy tale these days, but I'll hold out for it. I think the main thing, and to reiterate it, just keep going, just keep waiting, keep learning, keep getting better every day. There's no need to stop. Keep looking at the books. I don't know if there's anyone watching there, but one of the best things I ever looked at was Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Boom. Mind blowing. And the book attached as well. If you really want to up your game in life, those two books, so Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, it's hilarious how it's so simple, but trust me, if you want to go to the next level, this is what I did. When I got out of the relationship, I was like, right, I need to learn about women. I need to learn about men. What's going on? And then the book attached. Honestly, the book attached, you'll be like, oh wow, oh wow. You're like, so attachment theory is what it's all about, because it's all right being told by a therapist what you are or what's going on, but when you actually look at it and you see it, because it's just like, oh my god, now I know how to do this. Now I know how to reassure an anxious person. Now I'm like, but yeah, I think solely to answer that question, they are out there. There's a lot of emotionally intelligent men, and there's I mean, don't forget as well, you're going to get I was going to swear then, the BSers in there, right? You're going to get, like when it's like the spirituals, like, I'm spiritual now, no, there's going to be people that come across as this, but they might just be, blowing smoke at you. But I might have watched one video and be like, oh yeah, I know about this. You'll meet the person who'll be like, wow, they're so easy to talk to, they're so easy to get on with. Like, hang on, is this turning into something? You just got to be patient, I think.
I agree. That's a great answer. Yeah, I think it like you said, it really is a hard time to date, and especially for emotionally intelligent people in general, because there are a bunch of people running around, like you said, with like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to figure it out. And this new wave of figuring out too, oh, I don't have to be married by 25 with kids, so I can spend some time and like actually figure out what's going on and figure out how to be a good person and a good mate and a good mom, or a good father. And so it's a lot more work. It's a lot more work, and it's a lot more rare to find people that are doing that work, even if there's more access to it now. And I was talking to my friend's parents, and I had been for a while saying, like, to myself at least, like, I don't think dating is any more difficult. It's just different. We have different difficulties. And it was really reassuring to hear them say, y'all have it hard. Like, it was never this hard for us. So I was like, okay, maybe it is just more difficult now. And I think that is true. So yeah, I think there's a multitude of things going into why it's more difficult for an emotionally intelligent person. But one of them is that there's a huge dating pool of people that are just like, I don't want to deal with any of this. We're going to just do the one-nighters. We're going to pretend we don't have issues. We're going to continue just to do whatever and drink and smoke until we don't feel anything. And then there's the little pool of people that are emotionally intelligent and really trying to work on ourselves, and we're still messed up. So then there's a little tiny pool of people that are really actually ready to date within that pool. And then you have to find one that's a good match for you. So like, the stats aren't good, but they're there. And like you said, it is worth waiting for. For me, I'm like, 70 more-ish years of life, maybe way less because I'm a little reckless. But I want to, spend it with the right person, not rush into something. And then, the divorce rate is so high too. That's not something I'm looking to do. I would like to spend a little extra time, be alone a little extra. And also I'm enjoying these years right now. So I would say to anyone that is looking like, appreciate this time you have by yourself. You're
Mm.
going to spend the rest of your life dealing with kids. God bless them. But like, they're exhausting. I'm tired from a dog. Okay. Kate gets it.
This kids thing. I love kids, right? But
I'm
the sleep
rapidly
scares
saying,
me so much. Scares me. That lack of sleep. I'm like, I would do anything, right? I've said that if I meet someone, I will do I'll come home. I will cook, clean. I'll take the kids off your hand. I will do everything. I'll all night. I'll literally do everything. Just let me sleep. Let me get 7 hours. And I will promise I will do absolutely everything. I swear on my life. Just please, please. Like, Daddy's sleeping in the other room. I swear, I'll change every nappy when I get home. I'll cook every meal.
Guys thing. That is a
I
guy
promise.
thing. I was like that. I mean, I was the opposite. And like, I was just like, I would hear my kids breathe and I'm awake. And I would always just let like my late husband sleep. Like, I was like, it's fine. Like, I still can't. Like, my mom says to me now, she's like, good luck, because like you are 37 and I still like have sleepless nights. I still have sleepless nights. So I think you just have to find the right person so that it's a balance, you know?
Yeah.
It's out there.
Yeah. I'll say
It
that.
is
I'll
a
probably
thing.
turn into a melt anyway. I'll probably just get up and be like, I'll do it. But
You
right
will.
now, I don't know. It's scary.
You
That's
will.
so funny. I mean, I feel like it's like that with parents. Like, I just remember being younger and when anything happened wrong, my mom's just there. And my dad's like 10 minutes later, what happened? You know, like, just.
It's hard though, because like men work such physical jobs. I'm not saying like looking after kids isn't hard, right? I really am not. But physical work, like I work 2 physical jobs, and like for 12 hours a day, it's hard. And like you really want to like open your eye. Like when I'm gone, like I will fall asleep within. I'll put my head on the pillow. I'm gone. I'm gone until my alarm goes off or whatever. So yeah, I mean, women are like super, right? They're super. I mean, they're so nurturers. This is the thing. Women are nurturers. They're so nurturing. They're so already built for motherhood. They're so perfect at it. They don't know. They're scared shitless before, but then they get there and like, oh, this is. Oh, I know how to do this. Men are just like big boys. We're big boys. Right? We grow up in the face. All right. We get older. We look older, but we are big boys forever. We have no idea what we're doing. Give us our little bit of peace. Don't cause chaos all the time, but we will literally do what you say. Just we're big baby boys that need to be told to do this, and you guys are like amazing. You know exactly what you're doing. That's basically what life is, I reckon. Like me and my mates are always talking about this. We laugh. Like men, like you're talking about the masculinity and femininity stuff, right? So a man will have your back, right, or should have your back forever. They should hold their shield in front of you. That is their job. Support you. Da da da. But we are just big boys. So we need to go off and do our thing. We need to run into our little cave and, you know, put the dragon outside and protect ourselves a little bit and work our stuff out, and then come back. But women are just all out nurturers, and they're so fantastic at it. Well, you know, majority of them are. But yeah, that it got me thinking about it comes up a lot recently because I speak to a lot of my friends about their relationships and stuff like that, and I'm always trying to help, not give too much advice, but kind of like steer them into how to talk to avenue their conversations to make them sound better rather than like, you're doing my head in. Yeah, it's interesting, the dynamic. Like men and women are so different, but if you like that book I told you about, like,
Yeah.
I generally always thought that I'm a logical solution guy, and that's what women absolutely hate. I realised from the book. Like if you just want to be heard, right? You just want someone to listen to you. So anytime you talk to us, it's like you want to be listened to. So my thing is to like go in and be like, right, I got a solution for this. Blah blah blah. It's like, oh, and now I realise that. Hang on, not everyone needs a solution, but men are solution based. So you can speak to a guy and he'll give you a solution, be like, great solution. If a woman does it, you're like, what? Excuse me, I'm the solution guy here. Whereas women, they're like, oh, they just want to be heard and cuddled and be like, oh, okay, I hear you. Those books, you gotta read those books.
I will definitely read that. I do feel like though there has been time because I've heard that before. Also, I just love all of that. It is fascinating how different we are. But like in such a beautiful, such a beautiful complementary way if you know how to like lean into it. I remember my grandma even being like, you know, you have to train them. Like, because she had the most ideal marriage, and I just never realized like that she had that same dynamic going on, 60 years ago or whatever it was. But I do think that I feel like when I go, probably maybe it's partially because of how I was raised. Like when I go to my dad, I'm not looking to be consoled. I'm looking for a solution. And maybe that's because I'm a father's daughter, I'm like a daddy's girl, and I'm used to like how he operates, and he is a man, so he's very solution based. So I'm used to like, I won't ask a guy unless I want a solution, because I know that's what they're going to give me. Like if I want to just be consoled, I'll go bitch about it to my mom, like, and but yeah, so that's definitely interesting. But if both people understand that the other person works that way, it's really cool, right? Because I definitely have had times where like I was in a healthy relationship and he would ask me, do you want a solution or do you want me to just listen? And like, how cool is that? Because then you can then proceed with, whatever's going on.
I don't know. And it's like,
yeah.
Then no one knows what to do. But that's really good though, and healthy, and that's the mature level you want to get to, men and women. You want to get that to that mature. It's all about being mature, right? Oh, okay, let's think about it, because it is easy to lose our head in that trigger, in that moment, and that whatever. You've got to think, right? Okay, if we lead with emotions every time, then we're going to lose the logical part of it. Like, because there's have you heard of Joe Dispenza?
Love him.
He my guy. So the book You Are the Placebo, I learned one of the biggest things I learned is he talked about when we say I just feel like, right? I just feel like everything we do, like we lead with emotion. So when I don't know if you've ever been at your most high, this is why I say sleep's important. When emotions are high, intelligence is low. So we lose logic straight away. When we go with feelings all the time, I just feel like we're so quick to say how we feel in that moment. We haven't even given ourselves time to quickly be like, right, logically, is that their problem? Did they do this? Did I do this? Am I thinking something? We've got to be really mature in that moment. And this is where being aware, and that is, I think, personally, real emotional intelligence, to be like, right, I'm tired. Am I going to say something? What I'm about to say, is this going to affect this person? And how's it going to... That's the kind of the route we should be going down. That's how we should be thinking, because if we're always leading with, I just feel like this, I just feel like that, we lose a lot of the logical stuff in like what we're talking about. We lose it. It's gone. And then it's just like, well, you made me feel like this. Well, now I feel like this, and I just feel, and then all the feels are there. And then you've got to deal with all the feels again.
That's good.
Well, I think you are not your feelings, though. That's such an important thing. You're not your feelings.
Yeah.
And I heard this yesterday. Our feel, like when you speak from a point of that, like from your feelings, you're basically speaking from your wounds. And that's why when people, like when you are in a relationship, and I've seen it with a very good friend of mine now, and I've seen all her wounds come up in such a beautiful way, and it's been so triggering for her, and it's been this crazy thing. I've been trying to like help them both like juggle this relationship via telephone. And I'm just like, you need to step out of your feelings. You need to step out of that space and realize that this is a mirror, what's happening. And if you need time, but we're so scared to say, let's just take a pause to let our nervous system settle down. Because when your nervous system's triggered and your cortisol levels spike, it's not good, especially if you're coming into a relationship with a wounded past, like so many of us are. I don't know anybody who doesn't have some trauma or some wound that they're carrying, their little suitcase into their next relationship. And you at some point, you've got to put that stuff down, but it often happens, like you process it together with that other person. Like it becomes a dual process of letting go, and it's hard, like unpicking the past, but you kind of got to understand it to be able to let it go. Just my opinion.
I get that. That's so powerful. It's true. You have to, like you said, you're bringing all that in. You need to sort it. Wherever you've sorted it, you've got to sort it somewhere. And like, I think we're so I don't know if you agree with this, right? You come out of a really bad relationship, whether it's toxic, whether it just didn't work out, whether it's avoidant, whatever, and then you're like, at that time you're so desperate, you want to be with someone, you need to go be with someone, and then you've got your years gone by, and you've got that time. The first person to come along, there's that little attachment back. Might just little, ooh, there's a person there giving me attention. We need to text all day or have a codependency all started instantly. But I see it now. It's like it happened to me, actually. It happened to me. I was kind of like talking to someone and they absolutely ghosted me. And it opened up this abandonment wound like 6-7 months into healing. And I was just like, I went completely avoidant. I goes, it took me 3 days to like reset my nervous system to like not think, like be so hyped. But then I started thinking to myself, I was like, what's it matter? What's it matter? Like, because now I've learned something for the next person. And even if like you've come out of something and it's been a year or 2 years and you're like, right, this is the one. I know this is the one. You don't know. You maybe this person has come along to learn more lessons to finally meet the right one after. I think we're going to keep learning lessons, or either going to stay with us or they're not. Like, I was going to say this earlier on when we're talking about if you meet someone, we're obviously on these paths for a reason, right? Everything that's happened to us, whether it's childhood, and this happened for a reason for us to learn. Some people are never going to get the luxury. They've been in a relationship and they've had that for 70, 80 years and they don't know anything different. Think about the knowledge that like we sit here today with. Like, wow, we can help so many more people, but we can go on to have the best relationships. Because like you said, Chelsea, I know a lot of people in terrible relationships. They know it. You know, if they weren't, they wouldn't be excessively drinking or doing drugs all the time. I believe, you know, those are signs that you're not happy. So I'd rather be doing me, you know, being like this, supporting other people, growing, and then being the best person, the best version I could be for someone else later on, whenever that is, if it happens. When it happens. Sorry, that's negative talk.
Good catch.
Yeah.
No, that's so good. That's so good. And I think that is the one huge perk about being born in this generation. Because, and I was talking about this with, I don't know, my mom or my grandma or someone the other day, that it was just like, they just had such expectations that you graduate and you get married. So they did that without thinking. And then you have a generation of people stuck in these relationships where they didn't even know the person a lot of the time. They would date for like 5 to 6 months and then get married because that was what they thought they were supposed to do. You don't know what you don't know. And then, you know, God bless them, they stay in these marriages because they don't want to like abandon the person, or they're trying to do right by God. And you have all these people in these relationships where they didn't do their work. They didn't really get to know the person, you know, and so what a cool opportunity for those of us, like you said, that have this time to grow and figure out and be able to walk into a relationship and be like, this is who I am. This is what I'm struggling with. Are these things you're willing to work with? Like, that sounds so refreshing. You know what I mean? It's like going into a restaurant and knowing like, these are my food allergies, versus going into a restaurant. You have no idea what you're allergic to. You have no idea what you like. They give you a plate of food and it's like, well, you might die, but good luck.
It's true, yeah. But the good thing is, right, it was all ancestral, right? So it's all going to be rolling downhill. So we either nip it in the bud here or just keep it going to our children. And like I'm sure Kate would agree because you've got kids. You get to everything that you didn't learn. I always said, like, I'm going to give my kids the life I never had. I would have just done exactly what my parents would have done, or, you know, my dad or whatever, or I would have just done what inevitably would have happened. Or what I can just say is, like, right, I'm going to teach them the lessons I never learned. The stuff that you didn't get taught at school, like, teach them exactly what they need to know. So that's where, if it doesn't end with you, it ends with them. But it will end with you because you're doing the work now.
100%.
I mean, they are the most remarkable teachers. And I was saying this today to actually my therapist. I was just like, the most beautiful, without doubt, and the hardest relationship is my relationship with them, because they mirror everything that is not healed, and it comes up every day and they will catch you. So it's like, it's quite incredible. And I was like, this is the relationship I need to master, this one. Then I will have made it. because it's always like there's never a day where I'm not learning something. There's never a night when I close my eyes and I'm like, okay, and I go through my day and I'm like, I did this good, could improve there. And it's always stuff with my kids. Always. It's amazing. It is amazing. It's exhausting, but it's amazing.
And I'm on the other side going through it with my mom, where I'm seeing all the things and I really don't want to see any of it. But I am taking it into therapy and being like, do I do this? And like figuring out like what things are from her, what things do I want to take and cherish, and how do I look at her? And we look at, like, you look at your child and I look at my mom, like, that's me. That's a little me, or that's big me, So it's like we're so much harder on them than anyone else because it's a reflection of me. And so when she does something or she's not dealing with something, I feel like, well, am I not going to be able to deal with that? Instead of let's refocus on all you can do with, like in your case, is be the best mother you can be the best Kate you can be. And for me, all I can do is be the best Chelsea that I can be. I can't control her, but I can learn from what I'm seeing from her. You can learn from what you're seeing with them. What are the habits? What are the tendencies? What are the things that could be focused on more? What are the uncomfortable spots we could lean into more? And that, I feel like that's 80% probably of the people that have issues have refused to look at that within the home, because that's where it stems from. The parents, and you see it with your kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, as the saying goes, if you're already aware, you're halfway there. I literally just made that up, but I'm gonna tag that on my man mind. That's actually really clever. I bet that's half the battle, isn't it? You've just said all that, and like that, you know the answer already because you're aware of it. You're gonna see it, and if you do start doing stuff, oh, hang on, no, I know what this is. This is this. We are symptoms of our parents. That's what children are, and that's what we are, and that's what they will be, and it goes on and on and on. What symptoms do we want them to have? That's the question.
Yeah. Okay, let's do maybe one more question, and then, because we like to talk, so that'll easily take another 10 minutes. So I don't think we can do more than that. But someone said, and I would love to hear your take on this. So I did this reel that went viral the other day, and I'm actually, the more that I think about it, I'm like, how is this a revolutionary thought? It's really not. The reel that I did, that I said, my man will never have to compete with any other man. So someone asked, can you make a video going deeper on that, explaining that? So for me, it should be like a given, but it's like when you choose someone, if you do the work and make sure, like, this is my person, then after you are in a relationship, they shouldn't have to compete for the spot. Like, yes, you should always be still dating, right? I believe in that. Like, as a married couple, still date each other. But definitely you're not out there competing with other people. Like, to me, when I fall in love, and I don't know how it is for men, but when I am in love, like, I physically cannot see another person. Like, he can be doing the worst things. He can gain weight. He can do whatever. Once I'm love struck, like, no one else exists. No one else exists. So for me, it just seemed like I felt like that's how it is with everyone, but everyone is different. So that's why for me, it's like no one will have to compete, or my man will not have to compete with anyone. Like, this is just, once I'm with a person, I'm with a person. Granted, that does change, or so I've heard, when you've been with someone for 8 years, finances get tough, life happens, then what do you do at that point? Like, but I think that the key is you go back to focusing on, like, no one else is competing. It's you and me, and we're figuring this out. It's not about, I'm going to replace. And the problem with our culture is there is a lot of, well, once it's not working anymore, we'll get divorced. Once I don't love them anymore. I don't believe love is a feeling. I believe love is a choice. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't know if it glitched or whether you wanted me to say something. Yeah. No. Yeah. I remember, right. So my first ever relationship when I was 20, 21. Like men do fall the same. Like I remember this girl. I worked in a call center, and she walked down, and I saw her, and I was like, oh my god, oh my. Like, I just knew. I was like, she's going to be my. Probably thought the wife at the time. Didn't happen. Really lasted 9 months, but it was a great. Like in my mind, I was like, I can't look at anyone else. Like, and I know I love women. Like the women are fantastic. They're beautiful. They're lovely to look at. So I'd always like, oh my head. You'd see someone. Oh hello. When I was with her, I could not. There was no one else. It was just her. I gave her everything, all I had. I probably like, I got too into that, too attached. I gave up kind of like the gym and stuff like that. But I think what you're saying there, like, if you really want something to work, you will try and make it work at all costs. I mean, I think one of the probably the biggest thing I would do if it got to that stage is couples therapy, and I'd be happy to do so. I've done lots of therapy, and I'm not afraid to admit it because it's one of the best things I've ever done. But try everything, try absolutely everything. If you fall into bad habits, reverse them, get out of them. The whole idea is to be with someone, right? Is to you can't make someone truly happy. You can do things gestures that make them feel good in the moment, but the main thing that you are to someone is an asset. So you come into someone's life and you are an asset to what they are doing, and they're an asset to what they're doing. And you should, whatever you're doing, you could be over here and you could be over there. You should just merge like this somehow through love and through this feeling of chemistry. You should just become, and you should bind, and that should be it. But again, it's all that communication. If you're not communicating anything, I feel like this, I feel like that, whatever. Oh, I'm looking over here. Like, I mean, even if like you got to the stage of a relationship, and let's just say things happen, people internalize and stuff, and you're not sleeping together anymore, whatever. You need to be adult enough to be like, okay, by the way, this is pushing me away. It's making me start wanting to look at other people, men or women. Can we talk? Can we sort this? Can we work on it? It's the main thing is just communicate and communicate and communicate some more until you can't communicate anymore. That's when you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe this isn't the thing to do. But I think by being aware, by doing the work, by doing everything that we've talked about today, you might avoid a lot of those things. You might avoid, having marriages and divorces and stuff. Not avoid having marriages, avoid having divorces and stuff like that. Like Kate said earlier on, now it's her mission to be with the next person, and that'll be it for life. Like that's generally what we all want. Even F boys or F girls or whatever. And we got to this stage, we got to who we are because we had an abandonment wound. So we're looking for someone to fill that. I think internally, in our souls, it's written that we want to be with someone. I truly believe that. I don't think we're supposed to walk the earth and just be like this solo single person. I just don't. We're supposed to be in tribes. We're supposed to be supporting each other, living with each other, helping each other, and loving each other through everything. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Community.
100%. Like, it's funny, we laugh at the Eastern Kingdoms, right? Oh, yeah, they all live at home. There's 12 of them who live at home. Yeah, the women look after the women. There's like the elders look after, they all know what they're doing. So when it comes to giving birth, they know. They've been told. Here, they're like, right, you're 18. No, go get yourself a house. Go over there. You live over there. They've all got like equity and stuff. And like, they literally all put their money into everything. They grow. They do so well. They've always got support with each other. They've got these mass gatherings. We're over here. They live over here. Your sister lives in another country. We're all just scattered in the Western world. Like the Western society's a bit crazy, isn't it? Like I'm trying to build down here a tribe of men that are strong and resilient. Resilience is the key, right? We keep getting stronger through each hardship until you're just a force. And if you do that as a couple, oh my God, you're going to be insane.
Yeah. That's so good. I love that. I wish more of us could and I feel like there are some people that are moving towards this tribe mentality because it takes a village, right? And that's what I try to explain to girls is if you need to take this time now before you're in a relationship to enjoy your girlfriends and build bonds. And that's one thing I've seen made my grandma, her marriage so successful. She has solid women girlfriends that she still meets. we say she's 80, but I think she's older than that. And she's been meeting with these women since she was in college. And they have gone through everything together, and they are, this tribe, and they have each other's back. So what happens there is when you have those people, then you're not looking to your partner for everything and fulfillment. First of all, you should have it with I believe you should be good within yourself and with God. But like you said, we need community. We need people. And if you just are looking to your partner for everything, that's exhausting for them. Sometimes they're not going to be able to show up. Sometimes they're going to be tired. So to have a community where you can go lean on other people and raise your kids together and go to vacations together and cry together, laugh together, that is a game changer. And I think that is so cool that you are building that. My ideal life is to have someday not just be me and my husband, but a group of couples, and we're all all
the community.
Let's all go to Bali. I'll build the village. We all just live there. Honestly, perfect. That's it. Build a tribe. I want to be head. I want to be head of my family. Yeah.
I am dead. That's exactly what I want. This is my vision. This is my 10-year plan. I'm telling you that we are globally moving because the West, as you said, society is crumbling. We are moving back to that way of life. Look, I'm telling you. So Bali or Costa Rica, I just have this vision about Costa Rica, but that's what I want to create. I want to create a community.
Okay.
Costa Rica.
I'll meet you there. Yeah,
okay.
Costa Rica, 100%.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
They've got those helium fart things, don't they, that create their own gas. I don't know if you've seen the Darren O'Brien video with Zac Efron. And they go to Costa Rica. Just unbelievable. It's literally what they're doing. They're teaching their kids. Yeah. They're teaching the kids to build axes and stuff at school. They absolutely love school. They're doing all the stuff that we should be learning, not random maths and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. There's a place for certain things, but they don't look like they're in many prisons. They look really happy. They're doing sports. They're being really happy. They're learning how to cook and grow food. And we're here to survive, right? And we're here to procreate and have these big families and tribes. Before cities, we lived in villages. We lived in tribes. There's probably places unexplored on this world that there's tribes there that have absolutely no idea we exist, like the film The Village, and they're probably so content and they're living so naturally like they've always been. We're just not living how we should be.
Yeah.
No, we're not. And if you look at, I think the essence of this is how so many people, so take, for example, the Amazonian tribes. Okay, so the Amazon there's a lot of tribes, but people are literally flying there to do these healing retreats, to do their ayahuasca journeys. They're going there for the medicine from these communities because the Western world has broken us with our SSRIs and screen time and all of this big pharma and all of this. We're returning to these communities that, those are the proper shamans who have literally been raised from children to deliver this medicine. And it's an entire village. It's an entire village that supports this kind of structure. And I think it's so beautiful. So yes, let's all move to Costa Rica.
We could do a whole other podcast with this, I think.
Yes, I think we can.
You've said a lot of keywords then that I was like, we need another 3 or 4 hours.
We're going to start, and on that, we'll wrap it up, but we'll leave it at, we're going to start a tribe. So if anyone's interested, it's going to be great. Well, thank you so much for being here, Mark. You have so much wisdom. And I'm excited to see where your adventure takes you. And I'm happy for all the men that are blessed to have you in their lives.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. If people want to follow me, I'm on socials, Instagram, ManMind, or Mark Sparta 22. So whatever. All my ManMind stuff's got my daily wisdoms and all the stuff that I put on. It's for women as well. They can have, it's not just men. We need women. So if I can help women as well.
Yeah, and women need men's opinions and men's point of view to see. Yeah, we'll put your Instagram and everything in the caption.
Amazing. So, thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching or listening. Bye.